So where do you put your thumb when you're learning guitar? I'm going to tell you. And if you hang out to the end, I'm going to give you a little extra that you'll find invaluable. Hey there, I'm Tomas Michaud from Real Guitar Success. So one of the questions I get asked over and over is, where do you put your thumb? And I'm going to start off by telling you, it's not a simple one-size-fits-all answer. But I'm going to show you what it could or should look like and at least get you going in the right direction. But before I start showing you little nuances of where to place your thumb, we're going to start with something that's critical and often neglected. It's your basic body posture. And you see, the way you sit and the way you place your arms affects how your thumb hits the guitar. So let's start there. First of all, you want to try to sit straight up when you're playing. I know, it's so tempting to go like this. Matter of fact, more than tempting, some students tell me they have to go like this, or even more so, kind of slump the guitar down like this. But in the long run, if you do that often, or at least most of the time, it's going to cause problems with your back, and it's going to make it difficult to get good thumb and hand position. The best thing to do is just look down once in a while as you have to, then sit straight up. Think about the amount of pressure it takes to hold your body like this for extended periods of time. And it's going to wear on you. It did me, and I'll vouch for that. The second thing is, let's talk about the arm, the left arm. And see, this is connected to your body posture. If you're sitting straight up, what you want to do is tuck your arm into your side. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, tuck into your side. Not far back and not sticking out, but just roughly. And when I say tucking it in, not holding it with a lot of tension, just kind of gentle so it stays there. And then fit the guitar neck where your hand reaches. Don't pull your arm out like this. It's not necessary, though you can do that if you're standing up and playing around. But in general, a good, solid sitting up position and your arm gently hanging down by your side, more than tuck, which implies some kind of physical exertion. Just let it hang by your side. This will give you the best angle to get a good thumb position on your guitar. Now, as you do that, place your left hand on your guitar neck. And don't worry too much about the thumb right now, but what I want you to see is that my wrist is not sticking out like this. What you want to do is bring the wrist back a little bit so that there's not much of an angle on your wrist. It's pretty well straight. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, and it can change. But in general, you don't want it kinked up like this. Okay, now that we've got a good foundation, let's start talking about where to put the thumb itself. There is a good basic position that I want my beginning students to start off with that gives you the most bang for your buck. And here's what it is. I'm making a chord right now, and I've got my thumb behind the neck of the guitar. Basically, I'm using the pad of my thumb on the neck. It's not dead center in the neck. It's slightly higher than dead center. When I make a bar chord, I bring my thumb a little bit lower like this, and then back up for an open chord. Now, this position gives you the most leverage. If you're going to move your hand around like this, it's much easier to do that than if you have your thumb way up here. Also, when you're pressing between the thumb and the tips of your fingers, you get the most pressure for the least amount of effort this way. Now, a couple of variations on this. If your thumb's really long, it's probably going to be up a little bit higher, maybe even up the top of the guitar. And if it's smaller, it might be closer down, a little bit lower. The other thing is I see some people put their thumb this way. Nothing wrong with that. If that works for you, that's fine as well. I tend to have my thumb straight up and down, but this seems to work for others just fine. I want to show you two things to avoid. One is to close up your palm and put your thumb like that. This is a problem, and if you're doing that, I would change that right away. The second one is to crink your thumb like this. It's just going to hurt over time, and there's no need for it. In general, I wouldn't worry too much about the exact position, whether it's this way, or higher or lower, but generally in this area. Also, I'll mention that I'm using as little amount of pressure as I need to press the thumb and the fingers together, just enough to get a good sound. If I release slightly, my thumb would just fall off. I'm not holding it up tight, and this helps you to play for longer periods of time without getting sore. Now you'll notice I can move around easily with my thumb back there. I can go from open chords to a bar chord, and my thumb is pretty much in the same place, just moves slightly down. Also, if I wanted to play some single notes exercise, no problem. I want to talk about one more place to put your thumb that you've probably seen. That's a thumb wrapped around the neck like this. This is a technique that many famous guitar players use. In fact, Jimi Hendrix plays like this a lot. Now, let's get real for just a minute. I know this is easier in the beginning, but for a beginner, this is not the best position because it really limits your range of motion. It can be reserved for more techniques later, which I'll mention in a second. But in the beginning, you want to get the habit of being able to play with your thumb behind the neck. This can be a good technique for use later on. But in the beginning stages, I want you to have a good solid foundation of being able to play with your thumb behind the neck. Let's do an experiment. Do this with me. Wrap your thumb around the neck and put your first finger on that second fret there. Now the second finger on the third fret, and try and stretch over with your third finger onto the next fret. Can't do it. I can't do it. If I just move my thumb back a bit, I can get the third finger down and a little more, and I can get the pinky down pretty good. You notice with my thumb behind the neck, I have a lot more range of motion. I can move like this. And when it comes to bar chords, I need my thumb back there anyway. So one final bit of advice. If you've been playing for a while and what you're doing is working without causing any pain or anything significantly holding you back, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you do feel pain, I'd make some changes. And if you're used to getting your thumb in a strange way, give it a little time to try the new changes because you're going to have to get used to it. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I'm Tomas Michaud from Real Guitar Success. I just love teaching guitar to grown-ups of any age. Bye for now.